Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I'm covering World's Finest, Teen Titans by Mark Waid and Spirit World by Alyssa Wong. I'll now get things organised for the first one that I'll be covering on the channel. And the first one we move into is Teen Titans by Mark Waid. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? In some essence it does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into having a look at the internal art around the beginning, middle and end, and also what's happening story-wise. So as the story begins, we have the Titans taking on some villains. And in one case, we've got Kid Flash here, Wally West. We've also got Speedy, Aqualad, and also Wonder Girl, which I think is Donna Troy. We move a little bit further into the story, to which they take on, I think it's called, the villain's name is called Separate Man. And you actually get to see his appearance after they've finished beating him a little bit later on. And last but not least, Dick Grayson is put in a position where he doesn't want to put up with some of their BS. For the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Moving into the area of the story, this story addresses how many of the Titans and their interactions with sort of like their key mentors. So with Aqualad, it's Aquaman. Robin, it's Batman, and also a lot of the discussion that's happening there. And they also get a bit of like feedback against sort of like each other. And it's sort of like the working of this team becoming a group, to which they will become known as the Teen Titans. Moving into the next thing, and that is the area of time, to which we got no indication of. I think it would have been good to include it in the story. Then we have the next thing, which is location. We have Maine, Central City, Washington, D.C., Star City, Atlantis, the Batcave, the Titans Lair. We also had Pensacola Beach in Florida. We also had the warehouse in Metropolis. And one thing that we presently don't see on this present Teen Titans is a Superman type related character, which is fine. But I wonder if they're going to bring over maybe a character connected to Superman, which will probably introduce maybe Supergirl from the World's Finest Teen Titans run. But for the overall story rating in this, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Spirit World. So as we jump into Spirit World, does this cover in any shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give a 7 out of 10, to which this cover sort of like takes place with Xanthi being in the spirit world, and we're getting to see like some of the elements that are happening in the spirit world. Now to move to the internal art, which we'll have a look around the beginning, middle and end, and also what's happening story-wise. So as the story begins, we end up having Constantine and Xanthi finally catch up with Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. As we move towards the middle of the story, we get a bit of an indication of some of the stuff that's happening within the spirit world, and some of the things that they're encountering, and also some of the things that are there. And as we start to move towards the end, we end up sort of like reaching one of the villains in this particular world, and they are making a request of Cassandra Cain. Even though it's not shown in this panel, it is shown throughout the panels, throughout the story. And in the case, one of the things that she offers is her blood, and only until she stops, or only until she says stop. And we also catch up with Popo and also who the other character is. Not brought up, but it should be brought up. And because of that, it does actually lose points. So for the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Moving into the next area, and that is the story. First things first, did we get anything covering the area of time? Yes, we did. Twitch now was used for the area of time. The location, all of this is taking place in the spirit world. The cast of characters consisting of Xanthi, Constantine, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. We had Popo and also Mr. Hong. One thing I'd like to bring up about this is that I think it would be nice for Alyssa Wong to actually bring up Xanthi's real name instead of like showing it as dead name. And the fact that her character has aged since she has died, that sort of breaks its own canon. And because we do learn in the previous issue that her character died when she was younger, and I think it would actually be good to have her main name brought up. Like, her main name could still be used as an alias that she could use in the real world. And Xanthi could be her hero name for when she needs to go to work in the hero world. And I think if it was brought across like that in the story, the rating would be higher instead of the rating that that this issue is going to get. So the story rating for this is a 6.5 out of 10. It'll be interesting to see how the next issue goes. And I wonder if we will get more talk in relation to that, even though it wasn't really covered in this issue. It was covered in a previous, but it would be nice to finally get some closure in that before this series ends. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.